Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Granth-raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Samaveta Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Is my voice audible? Is it clear? I don't need to use. Okay. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you to today's Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita session. Today is April 9th, 2026. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8. Lord Krishna shows the universal form to his mother. Until yesterday, we read about the name-giving ceremony of Krishna and Balaram. Today, we will begin another pastime. So, the way the previous pastime concluded was like this, that Gargamuni told Nanda Maharaj that anyone who has affection for his son, Krishna, any manava, that means any human being, any person who has affection for Krishna, for Nanda Maharaj's son, is very fortunate. Mahabhagaha is extremely fortunate, greatly fortunate. Narayo bhibhavantyetan Vishnu pakshan ivasuraha. And his enemies will not be able to overcome him. The way those who are on Lord Vishnu's side in a battle cannot be overcome by the enemies, the asuras. That means the way devatas are not overcome by asuras when Lord Vishnu is on their side. In the same way, anyone who has affection, who loves Nanda Maharaj's son, will become greatly fortunate and his enemies will not be able to defeat him. And here enemies means both internal enemies and external enemies, especially the internal enemies like lust, anger, greed, illusion, envy. These things will all be destroyed by. So how do you develop love for Krishna? So there's a procedure, the way we follow. First, you have to develop firm faith. Then you have to start sadhana, bhakti, pure devotional service. And by that sadhana, then you'll get bhava, and then you'll get prema, like that. So when you practice sadhana like this, what happens? All your anarthas will be destroyed. Your avidya will be removed. That means lust, anger, greed, all these things are destroyed. Then Gargamuni also said, Tasman nandatmajoyam te narayana samo gunaihi shriya kirtya bhavena ayasva samahitaha. So we saw that, therefore, O Nanda Maharaj, your son, your son has qualities like Lord Narayan, or you can say only Narayan has qualities equal to your son. Or you can also say your worshipable deity, being very pleased with you, has blessed you with a son like Lord Narayan. Like this, various meanings are given. And how he is equal to Lord Narayan, in what qualities? In beauty, in fame, and in his influence, his power. So therefore, you protect him very carefully. Or you take care of him very nicely, you raise him very affectionately, like that. But also it means you keep whatever I have said very confidential. Don't reveal it to anyone. That's one meaning. And the other meaning is, so he is the gain of all the gopas. Gain, like Gain, gain. That means you gain something because of your pious activities or whatever. So he is the gain for all the gopas. So therefore protect him nicely. This is a very valuable gift that you have, that the gopas have got. So you protect him nicely, like that. So then Sukadeva Goswami is saying, in this way, after instructing Nanda Maharaj about the Supreme Lord, Gargamuni returned to his home. But also here also there is another meaning. That means Krishna, who took away the life of Putana and the life of Trinavarta or Shakatasur, that way he took away the mind or the heart of Gargamuni. So Gargamuni lost his mind to Krishna, lost his heart to Krishna. But now when he had to go, he had to take his mind back from Krishna and, Atmanam Samadishya. And once again, take it back to himself, like that. That means direct his mind back to himself. So he had to withdraw his mind from Krishna and direct it back to himself. And like this, he went back home. So that's what we read. So now we will read the next pastime, which begins with the next verse. By the way, I have a class today at ISKCON Philadelphia, so we will have a very short class. I won't be able to do a full-fledged class today, but the reason I'm doing is so we will not, the continuity will not be broken. So we will just start, we will read maybe one verse each, and then, yeah. So text 20, this we finished. Next, text 21. Kālena vrajatālpena gokule rāma-keśavau jānubhyāṁ saha pāṇibhyāṁ riṅgamāṇau vijahratuḥ. Kālena vrajatālpena gokule rāma-keśavau jānubhyāṁ saha pāṇibhyāṁ riṅgamāṇau vijahratuḥ. Kālena, in due course of time. Vrajata means started moving around, right? Vrajata. Or you can say walking, right? Vrajata. Alpena, in a very short, very less. That means alpa kālena, in a very short time. So the previous pastime was Krishna and Balaram were 100 days old. They were about 3 months old. So they would always be in the arms of their mothers, or sitting in the lap of their mothers, maybe Nanda Maharaj or other elderly gopis. They would be sitting in the arms, or they would be made to sit on the ground. They would be on the ground, maybe on the bed, right? Or maybe they would be in the cradle, right? But they were not moving around. They would just be in one place. But in a very short time, kālena, vrajatālpena, they started moving around. Where? Gokule, in Gokula. Who? Rāma-keśavau, Rāma and Kṛṣṇa, Krishna and Balaram. In a very short time, Krishna and Balaram began moving in Gokula. Where in Gokula? Not that they were just going all over in the Gokula village, but within the courtyard of the house. And how were they moving? Jānubhyāṁ. Jānubhyāṁ means on their knees. Saha, along with pāṇibhyāṁ, with their hands. So they were on their hands and knees, and in this way they were moving around. How were they moving? Riṅgamāṇau. Riṅgamāṇau means crawling. So they were on their hands and knees, and in this way they would move around. Riṅgamāṇau, crawling. Vijahratuḥ. This is very interesting. Vijahratuḥ means, vijahratuḥ means like vihar, right? They were actually enjoying. It was like a pleasure pastime for them. They were actually enjoying this, going around on their hands and knees in the courtyard. kālena, vrajatālpena, gokule Rāma-keśavau, jānubhyāṁ saha pāṇibhyāṁ, riṅgamāṇau, vijahratuḥ. So initially, I think all of us have had babies at one point. Not all of us, some of you don't have. But we have been babies ourselves. We may not remember when we were babies. But the first thing is, the baby is on hands and knees, but it's not that once the baby comes on hands and knees, immediately they start moving around. No. First, they're just on hands and knees, like just in one place, they kind of move, not like move to different places. And then they start dragging the body with the help of hands and knees, and they try to move. And then soon they become very expert at that, and they just start crawling. But interesting thing is kālena. This happened very, very soon. They didn't take too long. In a very short time, Krishna Balaram started moving on their hands and knees. They started crawling. Riṅgamāṇau means crawling. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. After a short time passed, both brothers, Rāma and Kṛṣṇa, began to crawl on the ground of Vraja with the strength of their hands and knees, and thus enjoy their childhood play. So vijahratuḥ means they were actually, it was a great, like a pastime, pleasure, how do you say? Vihar karna, right? They were actually enjoying it like a recreation. They loved that. After a short time passed, both brothers Rāma and Kṛṣṇa began to crawl on the ground of Vraja. So they were crawling within the courtyard. All over the courtyard, they would just go. And more details about this crawling we will see in the next verse. But maybe sometimes they would go a little further, like if they went out of the courtyard. Maybe they would go on the street a little bit, but mostly they're just crawling in the courtyard. And how are they crawling? With the strength of their hands and knees, and thus enjoy their childhood play. Purport. One Brahmana devotee says, Shrutim apare smritim itare bharatam. Nahi. I don't know how the meter goes, but Shrutim apare smritim itare bharatam anye bhajantu bhava bhītāha aham iha nandam vande yasyalinde param brahma. Very interesting thing to be noted here is this verse that Srila Prabhupada is quoting. He quotes this at the beginning of the purport, and again he quotes the same at the end of the purport. What does that mean? That means this is extremely important. Otherwise, why he is quoting the same verse 2 times in such a short purport? See, at the beginning and at the end of the purport. So we'll see what it means. Shrutim apare smritim itare. That means Shrutis means the Vedas and Upanishads. Smritis means, the Puranas, or actually Smritis means those which are given by the sages. Smriti, right? They will remember by performing their tapasya by smriti. They give the smritis. So given by sages. Itare bharatam anye. That means Bharatam, Mahabharat, anye bhajantu, bhava bhītāha. Bhava means what? This material existence. In this material, and bhītāha, out of fear of this material existence. That means material existence gives us so much fear, yes, suffering, and samsara, birth, old age, disease and death. So out of fear of all the problems of material existence, people, they follow whatever is, some people follow the Vedas, what is said in the Shrutis, whatever procedures are said. For example, Nishkama Karma Yoga, like that. So they'll follow what is said in Shruti. Why? Out of fear of material existence. And others may follow what is said in the Smritis, Smriti Shastras, whatever is said, like Karma Kanda and Upasana Kanda, whatever is said in the Smritis, they'll follow that. Bharatam, Anye, and still others, they follow what is said in Mahabharat. And in this way, bhajantu, they perform their bhajan. Bhajan means following the instructions of Shrutis, Smritis, Mahabharat. They follow that particular sadhana and they worship. Why? Out of fear of material existence. But the Brahmana who wrote this, he's saying, Aham iha nandam vande. But I am not going to follow all these things. I am not going to follow what is said in, Shrutis, what is said in Smritis, and, that means I'm not going to follow the procedures, various procedures. What am I going to do? I am simply going to offer my obeisances to Nanda Maharaj. Aham iha nandam, this Nanda Maharaj, right? I'm going to offer my obeisances to Nanda Maharaj. Which Nanda Maharaj? Yasya alinde, that means in whose courtyard, Param Brahma, or in Yasya, in whose house, Alinde Param Brahma, played the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Or in whose courtyard the Supreme Parabrahma is playing or crawling. That Nanda Maharaj, I will simply worship that Nanda Maharaj. I'll offer obeisances to that Nanda Maharaj. I will simply worship that man. That means that is my only sadhana. Nanda Maharaj is so exalted that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Swayam Bhagavan Kṛṣṇa, is playing like a small child crawling in his courtyard. As my sadhana, I will simply worship and offer I offer one day. One day means offering obeisances. I offer my obeisances to Nanda Maharaj. I'm not going to follow all these other things. So let's read Srila Prabhupada's purport. Let others, fearing material existence, worship the Vedas, the Vedic supplementary Puranas, and the Mahabharata. But I shall worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the supreme Brahman is crawling. So this here, what are we reading here? That Rāma-keśavau began riṅgamāṇau, crawling, vijahratuḥ, right? Where? In Gokule. So in that regard, Srila Prabhupada is quoting this verse that says that let others fearing material existence worship the Vedas, the Vedic supplementary Puranas and Mahabharata. But I shall worship Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the supreme Brahman is crawling. For a highly exalted devotee, Kaivalya, merging into the existence of the Supreme, appears no better than hell. Kaivalyam narakayate. To a devotee, it appears like that. Kaivalya appears like naraka, like hell, to a devotee, to a highly advanced devotee. That's why devotees also are of different grades and types, right? Because a devotee wants devotional service. A devotee does not want simply liberation. I want to be free from all my miseries. That's why Prabhupada is saying highly exalted devotee. Highly exalted devotee means, first of all, he is a pure devotee. And what to speak of if he actually develops a relationship with the Supreme Lord? He wouldn't want to just go and merge into the Lord. He would want to have a relationship with the Lord. For a highly exalted devotee, Kaivalya, merging into the existence of the Supreme, appears no better than hell. He'd rather go to hell, because from hell, at some point, you still stand a chance of maybe getting the mercy of a devotee, and in the association of a devotee, you can actually, at some point in future, you'll be able to see the Lord, right? And perform devotional service and meet the Lord in person and render devotional service to the Lord. But if you get Kaivalyam, if you go and merge into Brahman, finished. It's eternally, you lose that opportunity of being a devotee. So for a devotee, Kaivalya rather go to hell, but they won't accept devotional service. They don't accept any mukti, any type of mukti. But here one can simply think of the crawling of Krishna and Balaram in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj and always merge in transcendental happiness. That means devotee will reject Kaivalya. They'll reject Kaivalya. But what will they desire? This particular devotee is saying that I worship Nanda Maharaj in whose courtyard the Supreme Brahman is crawling. That means thinking of Krishna and Balaram's crawling in the court of Nanda Maharaj, in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj, the devotee is always merging in the ocean of transcendental ecstasy, happiness, simply by thinking of Krishna crawling, Krishna Balaram crawling. But they will not accept the pleasure of merging into the absolute truth. They don't accept that. They consider that to be hellish. As long as one is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes, as Parikshit Maharaj desired to be, one is always merged in actual Kaivalya. So what is Kaivalya? Kaivalya means, one thing is, you have transcended all three modes. That means no more material existence. Then you don't have any material pains also. Adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidaivika miseries. That's not there. But on top of that, see, there is pleasure of the soul. It's called Atmananda. But there is Brahmananda. Brahmananda means the pleasure of Brahman. That is far superior than Atmananda, pleasure of the soul. And that Atmananda is far superior than whatever material pleasure we get from the body or mind. So, but beyond Atmananda, there is Brahmananda. And that Brahmananda is compared to a drop of water in the ocean of bliss in Krishna consciousness, in bhakti. But still Brahmananda is superior to Atmananda. So when you say Kaivalya, Kaivalya means the pleasure of merging into Brahman, which is far superior to any material pleasure or even to Atmananda, the pleasure of self-realization. It is much superior to that. However, as long as one is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes, as Parikshit Maharaj desired to be, one is always merged in actual Kaivalya. If you are absorbed in Krishna's pastimes, always, see this, always. If you're always merged in if one is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, if you're absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, then you are always merged in actual Kaivalya. If you are absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela means what? Your mind is absorbed in thinking about Krishna's pastimes. If you are always thinking of Krishna Leela, then if you are able to come to that stage, if you're always thinking of, if you are, even if you're hearing, actually, if you're doing it all the time, if you're endeavoring to hear about Krishna's pastimes, to remember Krishna's pastimes, to meditate on Krishna's pastimes, if you're doing that, you're already liberated. When you actually become a pure devotee, that means you are convinced that you, being a servant of Krishna, this is all I have to do. If you're always meditating on Krishna's pastimes, just think about it all the time. Your mind is absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. Is liberation even a question there? You're already liberated. You're already liberated if you're always thinking about Krishna. So that's why here in this purport it is said that one is always merged in actual Kaivalya. Actual Kaivalya. So in liberation also you have different types, right? Different types. Of course you have moksha. You go and merge into Brahman. But you have 5 types of mukti. One is sayujya. Sayujya is merging. But you have other types of mukti also. But what is the highest? The highest is not just transcending the 3 modes and not taking birth again. That's not all. Actually engaging, because you have Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan realization. In Bhagavan realization, there is a relationship with the Lord. There is rasa. Rasa. So when you do pure devotional service, rasa means what? Rasa means there's a relationship. Either in dasya, sakhya, vatsalya, madhurya, like this. There's a relationship with the Supreme Lord. That relationship one can get only by doing pure devotional service. You cannot get that relationship with the Lord by doing jnana yoga or by doing ashtanga yoga or even by following your varnashrama dharma. Even when you do karma mishra bhakti, if you do, you cannot get that rasa, relationship with the Lord. That you can get only when you do pure devotional service. How will you do pure devotional service? When you get the seed from a pure devotee. That's the beginning. You have to get the seed from a pure devotee. That's when you can actually even aspire to do pure devotional service. So what is the highest type of liberation then? Merging into Brahman, getting the same body as the Lord, going to the same planet as the Lord? No, highest type of liberation is to actually get a relationship with the Supreme Lord. So when will you always be thinking about the Lord, be absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord? When your mind is purified. Initial stages, your mind is not purified. I'll just show you. Share. You see, on the right side, when we go here, then that is pure devotional service. Before that, this is mixed pradhanibhuta bhakti or karma mishra bhakti. So after you go here in pure devotional service, in the initial stages, your mind is not pure yet because you have anarthas. But you started endeavoring to do 24 hours, you're trying to do devotional service. And your anarthas are, by this bhajan, your anarthas are getting destroyed. When most of the anarthas are destroyed, now your bhajan becomes steady. That means now you're actually able to do 24-hour bhajan without falling down. Before anartha nivritti, even though the endeavor is there, you can kind of, you keep trying. And this is called anishtita bhajan. There are 6 stages here in anishtita bhajan. Why, how your bhajan keeps falling off, right? You're trying, but you're not able to do. But after anartha nivritti, now you become steady. So after anartha nivritti, what is happening is your mind is pure now. So with that pure mind, now you will be able to actually think of the Lord all the time. But before that, because the mind still has contaminations, in that impure mind, you will not be able to meditate on the Supreme Lord. Smaranam will not happen. Therefore, you will do Shravanam Kirtanam only here. Smaranam can happen after this. So if you are absorbed, Srila Prabhupada is saying, if you are absorbed in Krishna Leela, being absorbed in Krishna Leela means, that means you cross this state. So is liberation even a question for that person? No, he's already liberated. Liberation is, so what is the highest type of liberation? Here, actually getting a relationship. When you will start getting here, after Nishta, very soon in Ruchi and Asakti stages, now you will consciously shift to Raganuga Bhakti instead of Vaidhi Bhakti. Then in Raganuga Bhakti, you are attracted to a devotee in Vraja. And you will follow that particular devotee. That means you already got but means you did not, that means you have a direction now about your relationship with Krishna. In Ruchi and Asakti stages, of course, your body is still material, and with this mind you are engaging because mind already is purified, right? After Nishta Ruchi, now your mind is purified. Mind in Asakti stage especially, what happens is the mind, like a pendulum, you move it, it goes to the side, but eventually it will come and stop in the middle, right? Then you again move, it will come and stop. The natural position for the pendulum is to just stop in the middle. Similarly, in now, before this, here, what is the natural state? The mind is always coming back to material things. My family, my job, my, bank, like that. The mind is always absorbed in material things. You have to force the mind to go to Krishna. I have to chant now. I have to chant Hare Krishna. All other things, put them aside because I have to chant. That means you have to pull your mind to Krishna. That's the condition previously. You're trying, you're endeavoring to bring the mind to Krishna. But here, the mind is purified. Now the mind naturally, automatically goes to Krishna. This is the stage. That means all the time you're absorbed in Krishna Leela or Krishna's names or Krishna's qualities. or this is the stage, asakti, very advanced stage. If you read Madhurya Kadamini, you will see what is the state, condition of this devotee, and what to speak of in higher stages, bhava prem. So here what happens is this devotee is now, he gets he gets a hint, or he gets a relationship. But he gets a relationship means he's following, he's attracted to a particular devotee in Vraja, an eternal associate in Vraja, maybe Yashoda Mai, maybe, a particular gopi, or a personality that becomes this devotee's role model. Then naturally, what will this devotee's relationship be with Krishna? Same, the way his role model has, he will also get the same relationship. But this is here, he is still doing it mentally. In his mind, he is following. But by following like that, when he comes to the stage of bhava, now he will actually be awarded a transcendental body made of Swarupa Shakti. That body is awarded. That means now he actually has a body. That means he got a relationship now with Krishna. Previously, he was doing it mentally. But when he comes to bhava, he gets that body now. He gets that body. Of course, this bhava stage, it's said to be the budding stage. The full-fledged stage is in prema. Because in bhava, even though he gets the body, he is not actually experiencing Krishna outside. He is experiencing Krishna within his heart. Drishta evatmanishware. That means within his heart, purified heart, now Krishna he'll see Krishna, like Narad Muni in his previous life. Yes, he actually saw Krishna within his heart for a brief time, and then Krishna disappeared, like that. So that is bhava. In bhava, bhava is also called prema ankuram. That means the budding stage of prema. So in that stage, the devotee sees the Lord within his heart and experiences the Lord within his heart. But when you come to prema, he will actually see the Lord. So this is the topmost type of liberation. If you actually get prema, this is the topmost. And in this prema also, there are further higher stages. After prema, you have sneha, you have pranaya, then you have raga, anuraga, mahabhava. Like this, various stages are there. So this is the highest type of kaivalya. Merging into Brahman, they don't even consider it as an option. They think it is hellish, these devotees. They think they'd rather go to hell than accept kaivalya. So, what are we seeing in the purport here? See, as long as one is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, so being absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Leela, if you are able to come to that stage, especially Krishna's childhood pastimes as Parikshit Maharaj desired, one is always merged in actual kaivalya. Actual kaivalya, the highest type, right? You're liberated. Therefore, Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Lokasya janato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of Narada so that anyone can take advantage of this literature, think of Krishna's pastimes, and always be liberated. That is the whole purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam? Dharma projita kaitavotra paramo nirmatsaranam satam. That means Vedyam vastavam atra vastu shivadam tapatrayon mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamunikrite Kimva Parairishwaraha Sadyo Hridyavarudyate Kritibi Shushrushabis Tatskshanat. That means very soon, very quickly, if you are attentively hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, very soon the Lord will be established, right, within your heart. So the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam is to bring the person to pure devotional service. How will it happen? Simply by hearing, by oral reception. Narad Muni was unhappy I'm sorry, Vyasadeva was despondent after he Vyasadeva actually saw, he could see, he's Trikalagya, he can see past, present and future. So he saw the condition of the people in Kali Yuga, how they're going to be so, they will not have the capacity. So he wanted to make, everyone is suffering because of this avidya. Everybody is suffering the threefold miseries. And the compassion of a sadhu is to somehow or other deliver these conditioned souls. So with that intention, Vedas have been there before, but now he wanted to make it simple so that they can actually take it. He divided the Veda into, different sections and gave one section to each person and said, now you propagate this. So he'll give it to his disciple, his disciple, his disciple. So there's a parampara for each section. So original Veda was called Yajur Veda. That Yajur Veda, he divided means he took all the mantras for to be chanted by the priest Hota and put them under Rig Veda. Similarly, he took all the mantras to be chanted by the priest Advaryu and he named it Yajur Veda. He took from Yajur Veda and made a smaller one, Yajur Veda. Then he took mantras to be recited, uttered by the priest Udgata. And then he named it Samaveda. And he took all the mantras. So when there is a fire sacrifice, on 4 sides, there are 4 Ritviks who are uttering mantras. So each one has a different name. The 4th one is called Brahma. All the mantras that a Brahma recites, he took them out and put them in a separate book called Atharva Veda. And then still, there were many stories and histories. He took those out and put them under Itihasas and Puranas. And those Puranas, again, he divided into 18 types of Puranas under 3 headings. There is, Puranas, Satvika Puranas, Rajasa and Tamasa Puranas. And in Itihasa, he gave Mahabharata. And after doing all this, he gave the essence of the Vedas as Upanishads and the essence of the Upanishads as Vedanta Sutra in the form of sutras. In spite of doing all this, he was not happy. He didn't feel like he actually gave something which will help the people of Kali Yuga. He was feeling despondent. Why? Narad Muni came and he said, because you have not given that which really satisfies the heart completely. What is that? The glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even though you have given, you have not done justice. Because when you, glories of Supreme Personality of Godhead means bhakti. That is the subject. In bhakti, what do? You hear about the Lord's glories. You speak about the Lord's glories. You remember the Lord's glories. This is bhakti. You have given, but you didn't really highlight bhakti. Upanishads are the essence of Vedas, Mataji. So in Vedas, many topics were said. You have Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda, like that. And then, so you have 4 Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So he just stressed on this. So in Upanishads, you will, when it comes to Moksha, you will see that the absolute truth is Brahman. Like that, absolute truth is explained as Brahman in the Upanishads. That means the goal is seen as Kaivalya. People understand it like that. But Vyasadeva gave Vedanta Sutra. Still he was not satisfied. So then Narad Muni thoroughly said to, thoroughly established the importance of bhakti simply saying once or twice about bhakti and then telling people that you do bhakti so that everything will be good in your family by doing bhakti. That means you're making bhakti a tool or an assistant to karma. When you do some yagyas, you chant Om Keshavaya Nama, Om Narayanaya Nama for purification, right? By doing that, you'll get your material result of that yagya. Bhakti is the sadhya, that is the goal you want to achieve, not that you use bhakti as a tool to get some material result or to get kaivalya. That is great. That's an offense actually. What is the 8th offense to the holy name? 8 is to consider fruitive activities to be 8 is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas. Auspicious ritualistic activities means karma kanda. Considering bhakti to be like karma kanda is an offense. What to speak of considering bhakti an assistant to karma kanda, a servant of karma kanda? Certainly it's an offense. So that's what you have done. Narad Muni told Vyasadeva. So now, once again, you write a book, but this time highlighting bhakti as the goal, not as a tool to get some other result. And say this again and again and again. And how to do this? Then Narad Muni, Vyasadeva asked, so I understand we have to glorify the Supreme Lord, and that book which is glorifying the glories, glorifying the Supreme Lord, sadhus will hear that. Even if it has faults, they will hear it again and again. So how to do that? How does one become purified? How does one get bhakti? Not how does one get bhakti. You have to give a book, right? So the way to do it is you chant the names of the Lord and his glories, his pastimes. So now Vyasadeva had a question. Names means we understand Rama and Kṛṣṇa, that we chant the names. What about the pastimes? How do I know what are the pastimes? Then Narad Muni, because he's supposed to write a book now. So what about the pastimes? Then Narad Muni said that you are qualified to do that. You have that pure vision and your mind and intelligence are all purified. So you meditate on the Supreme Lord, and in your pure heart you will actually be able to witness the Lord's pastimes. And then you write them in the form of this book. And simply by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, so there are two things that happen. If you are a diseased person, then when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens is Bhagavatam acts like a medicine in curing your disease. What is our disease? Bhavaroga. Bhavaroga. We are covered by, ignorance, avidya. And because of that, we are identifying with this body. We are not able to realize, we didn't get that faith yet to do only devotional service. Then simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, what happens? By hearing, contemplating, meditating on what you hear, by that contemplation, your doubts are removed. And your anarthas are also getting cleared. You are being treated of your disease, Bhavaroga, by hearing Bhagavatam. And when you enter into pure devotional service, and then when anarthas are removed, after that also you'll continue to hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Then what will happen? Then you'll get ruchi. You'll actually be tasting, relishing. Even when you're taking it as a medicine, then also it is sweet. Even though it is medicine, it is not bitter medicine. The way in this world, when you have medicine, usually it is bitter. But This medicine is not bitter medicine. Even though it is medicine, it is very sweet medicine. It's relishable. But it acts as medicine in curing your bhavaroga. And after that, after the disease is cured and you continue to hear, then it actually you are able to relish the nectar like that. So that Srimad Bhagavatam, Narad Muni told Vyasdev to give to all of us. Vyasdev compiled Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of Narada so that anyone can take advantage of this literature. Think of Krishna's pastimes and always be liberated. So now we have a subject matter. Otherwise, this world is filled with so much garbage, right? Online and in books, newspapers. I don't know if anybody even reads newspapers. Nowadays, it is all, news is on the screen, isn't it? Whatever news on the internet. Yeah, newspapers don't even exist anymore, apparently. But all this is garbage. We should fill our consciousness with Srimad Bhagavatam, because this is acting as medicine and it is also so relishable. So the subject matter is given. What is the subject matter? It is filled with the pastimes of the Lord. I think yesterday I was telling you, in the 3rd chapter of the 1st canto, Paribhasha Sutram, we were talking about it yesterday. So in the 1st canto of the 3rd chapter, the list of all, it is the index chapter. You hear all the avatars that are going to be described throughout Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are 10 topics. The 10th topic is Ashraya. Atra sargo visargascha sthanam poshanam utayah manvantara eshanu katha nirodha and Ashraya. 10 topics are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. But what is the main topic? The main topic is the 10th topic, Krishna's pastimes. The shelter, Ashraya Tattvam is Krishna. But for one to actually come to the 10th topic, you have to study the remaining 9. By studying these 9 topics, you will be able to see how the 10th topic is different from the remaining 9. So you should go in that order only. Start from the beginning and step. And this Srimad Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation or avatar of the Supreme Lord. So the first 2 chapters are the 2 lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And then gradually you move higher and higher. And when you come to the 10th canto, which we are reading now, is the beautiful smiling face of Krishna. And in this 10th canto also, Krishna's Vraja pastimes, Vrindavan pastimes, childhood pastimes, these are the sweetest pastimes. Yes, Swati Mataji.
Mataji, you told Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda, Upasana Kanda. Hare Krishna, Mataji, are you able to hear me? Hare Krishna.
I'm not hearing still.
Hare Krishna.
One second, I'll see if anything is, one second. Just checking to see if my Bluetooth device is connected. Okay, I turned off the Bluetooth. Go ahead, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, are you able to hear me? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
I'm not. Maybe someone else. So I know if it's my.
Yeah, we can hear Mataji. We can hear you, Swati Mataji.
Oh, I don't hear Swati Mataji, but I hear you. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, I see.
Mataji, say again, Swati Mataji.
Mataji, are you able to hear me?
Now, yes.
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, you told that Jnana Kanda, in Vedas, Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda, and Upasana Kanda. Can we call Upasana Kanda as a bhakti?
No,
What is there in Upasana Kanda and exactly what it is?
Worshipping activities, different worshipping activities. I think even demigod worship comes in Upasana Kanda, but I'll have to check and tell you. I don't know the details.
Mataji, this one more question, Mataji. Is this Bhagavatam only for these Kali Yuga people, not for Satya Yuga? They will follow Vedas. Only they will follow Vedas, or only for Kali Yuga people? You told the Vyasadeva is.
No, not like that. When you say Veda, Veda has everything in it. Veda has Puranas, Itihas. When you say Puranas, 18 Puranas. In that 18 Puranas, 6 are Sattvic Puranas. Within those 6 Sattvic Puranas, one of them is Bhagavatam. These are eternal. Bhagavatam is there eternally. So when you say Veda, Veda includes Bhagavatam and all Puranas and Mahabharata and everything is there in Vedas. But in previous yugas, there was all that was in one book called Yajurveda. Yajurveda included everything. There was only one Veda. In Kali Yuga, Vyasadeva, as I explained to you, he actually divided it into, he made it into separate books to make the syllabus simple for people to study. Bhagavatam is there.
Mataji, what is in Shrutis, what will be there, Mataji?
In Shrutis, what will be there?
Shruti, not Shruti. Shruti means Veda. Smriti is what will be there.
Smriti is Puranas. But sages will give it to us. So, Smritis means Puranas, but the difference is, I'll tell you. See, Shrutis means the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda. And Smritis means the Puranas, Itihasas. But the subject, Vedatvam, is there even in the Puranas. The Upanishads, the Vedas, Shrutis, they are in the form of mantras. We said that just now. Each, the Purohit, the priest or the Ritvik, the mantras that he recites, all those mantras are put in one Veda. That means Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda, Sam Veda. These Vedas are in the form of mantras. Purana Itihasa means it is the explanation of these. Somebody is echoing. Oh, Rasapriya. Yeah, okay. So, Puranas means it is the explanation of those mantras in the form of history, stories. Okay? That means Puranas are actually giving you the details, whereas Vedas are in the form of mantras. So Smritis means Puranas and Itihasas. So they're called Smriti Shastras. But then can we say that so for Vedas you need qualification for someone to study Vedas? Also in Vedas are there is Swara Krama. Maybe I'll just do it. I don't know how much time we have, but I'll just show it on the board. It will be easier to understand. Or just for today, I'll say it in simple words because I have another class, but I can show it to you tomorrow. In Vedas, it's very complicated. Swara Krama means when you utter For example, you take one letter, A. Huh? In Sanskrit, you have A. In our usage, general usage, there are only two that we use, A and A. Those of you who know Hindi or other, Sanskrit, we have A and A. So A, where there is only one matra, A is called hrasva. And when there is dirgha, right? So A, right? There's one more matra, then that is called dirgha, hrasva dirgha. That's not all. Generally, in usage, we use these two. Sometimes you will see there's also pluta. Pluta means more than two. So A, and A. It can be 3, 4, 5, whatever, but it is longer. Huh? So hrasva, dirgha, and pluta. There are 3, right? That is not all. So in Puranas, you will find these 3. For one letter, you will see hrasva, dirgha, and pluta. You know how many you will find in the Vedas? Now, each of these, again, there is udatta, anudatta, and swarita. That means within your throat, you have upper and lower place. So when you have to say A, you can either say from the lower part of your throat called like that, or you can say from the upper part, like that. Okay. So now each one, hrasva, and then there is a third one. So the one on the lower is anudatta. On the higher is udatta, I think. One of the two, udatta and anudatta. And then swarita means both together, like that, both, right? Both together if you're doing, that is swarita. When you see yagyas being performed, you see how they recite the mantras, the voice goes low and high, right? So now each of these, hrasva, dirgha, and pluta. Hrasva means 1, dirgha means 2, pluta means more than 2, like that. So for this example is given, rooster, right? How do you say? Coo, coo, coo. Right? Coo means 1, coo means 2, and it will go. Like you say cock-a-doodle-doo, right? That means if you see it, there's hrasva, dirgha, pluta, all will be there. If you hear a rooster, say, call out in the morning. So now those 3, each one will have 3. Udatta, anudatta, swarita. For A, for A, and for A. 3. So how many you have? 3 times 3? 9 sounds for A. But that's not all. These 9, each one will have again 2. Anunasika, ananunasika. Anunasika means like, you have you say, right? Like on top of A, there's one dot. That means it's a nasal sound. Like angur in Hindi, angur. Like you make a sound with your nose, nasal sound. So that is anunasika, and without that, ananunasika. That means each of these 9 is again of 2 types. So totally one A has 18 different sounds, and each sound means different. There's a different meaning. When you make words like this, now you just, you get an idea how complex it is when you read the mantras. Depending on how you utter them, the meaning changes. So all these details are there where? In the Vedas. That swara krama is there in the Vedas. But when you come to Puranas, Smriti, it is not so complex. So therefore, to study Vedas, you need qualification. You have to be a dvija, either Brahmana Kshatriya or Vaishya. You have to be a Dvija. You have to go through Upanayana Samskara. Then you can study Vedas under a Guru. But for Puranas, it is available for everyone. You don't have to be a Dvija. Even Shudras can hear, and even women, everybody can hear. And are Puranas less than Vedas in any way? No. They're giving you the explanation in the form of stories. Anybody can hear and they can get the same benefit. In fact, now we don't have all the Vedas available to us. Even if they're available, we don't understand. Yes? And even if some are understanding, there is difference in how I understand and how another person understands, because of different meanings are possible, right? So the way you interpret and another person interprets in a different way. So it is complex. So therefore, what's the best source then? Puranas and Itihasas are the best source, because they are available to us completely. Puranas and Itihasas are completely available. Entire Veda is not available in the present time. So within Puranas and Itihasas, then what should we go for? Puranas. Because in terms of, this is established in Tattva Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami. So between Puranas and Itihasas, which is more, complete, which is more reliable, Puranas. And in Puranas also, now you have Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. Which one should we select? Satvika Puranas. Why? Because Sattva Guna, Sattvat Sanjayate Jnanam. Sattva produces knowledge. So of the three modes, which is better? Sattva Guna is better. So Satvik Puranas are good. Then within Satvik Puranas, you have 6. Of that, which one is good? Within Satvik Puranas also, in one Purana, Lord Vishnu is worshipped as the supreme. In another Purana, Lord Krishna is worshipped. Then which Purana should we select? So to select of the 6 Satvik Puranas, which one is the best? We have to we looked at the author, right? So Srimad Bhagavatam is given to us, the current Srimad Bhagavatam which is given to us, it's given to us after Vedanta Sutra, after everything. This is written by Vyasadeva in his maturity. So like this, it is established that Srimad Bhagavatam is the ultimate Purana for us. That means, even though it is Smriti, it is the ultimate Pramana. Even if there is something in, that means it's not that they are different. But if you see some statements which are different in the Shrutis to what is being said in the Srimad Bhagavatam has the ultimate authority, like that. Okay? I'm actually running out of time. We completed this shloka, and let me just read Bhagavad Gita and I will end the class after this. Okay. So therefore, Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam. Lokasya janato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Lokasya janato vidvams chakre satvata samhitam. Vyasadeva compiled Srimad Bhagavatam under the instruction of Narada, so that anyone can take advantage of this literature, think of Krishna's pastimes, and always be liberated. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here about one is always merged in actual Kaivalya if he is absorbed in thoughts of Krishna Lila. Where will you find Krishna Lila? In Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyone who is able to think of Krishna's pastimes, then he will be always liberated. So that is why this devotee is saying that let people worship Shrutis, Smritis, and Mahabharata. That means following the methods given in Shruti, Smriti, and Mahabharata. Let them do their worship. But I will simply offer my obeisances to Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard the Supreme Parabrahman is crawling. That means he's performing his childhood pastimes. That means simply by meditating on the childhood pastimes of Krishna, you get the ultimate benefit very easily, like that. Let me also read Bhagavad Gita. So tomorrow we'll read the next verse of Bhagavatam. Yesterday we read text 30. Actually, you know what? 5:20 now. 6:20, 7:20. Actually, I have to leave now. It's already time, I think, for this 5 minutes. We'll just stop here for today. Sorry. It's 7:40, almost 7:45. I have to jump to ISKCON Philadelphia class now. We'll continue tomorrow. Or should I just read? Okay, I'll just read the verse. So you'll have your Bhagavatam. Okay, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 13, text 31. Yadā bhūta-pṛthag-bhāvam eka-stham anupaśyati tata eva ca vistāraṁ brahma sampadyate tadā. Yadā bhūta-pṛthag-bhāvam, pṛthag-bhāvam, okay? Eka-stham anupaśyati tata eva ca vistāraṁ brahma sampadyate tadā. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So, important point is, when a man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies. I think we were discussing yesterday about nirbheda jnanam. Nirbheda jnanam means you don't see difference between gold and stone. You don't, that how is it possible to not see difference between objects? When you stop seeing the features of each object, all you see is existence. When you see the sofa, you don't see the features of the sofa. All you see is satta. Satta means it is existing. You only see existence. You don't see any other features. You see the laptop, you don't see any features. All you see is there is this existence. Like this is nirbheda jnanam. No bheda. You don't see difference. Just like Sukadeva Goswami, right? When he was passing by, he didn't see, the lady said he doesn't see the difference between male and female, or human or animal or anything. That vision is simply, you see existence everywhere, and that is called Brahman. Okay, so this is Jnana Yoga, 13 to 18 chapters. So we are talking about Jnana Yoga here. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So that is called Brahman conception, seeing oneness everywhere. Purport. When one can see that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. So why I'm saying various bodies of living entities? He sees that they are due to different desires. That means that's when you get attachment, right? You see you get attachment and aversion when you see the qualities. And then when you see the qualities, you think this is good and this is bad, like that. So in the material conception of life, we find someone, a demigod, someone, a human being, a dog, a cat, etc. This is material vision, but not actual vision. That's not actual vision. What is actual vision? Actual vision is, we saw previously, there is a living entity that is covered by all these coverings. The living entity is different from the body. That is actual vision. But if you see, and also whatever you see is actually a combination of external energy and marginal energy. There is a living entity, which is the marginal energy, and there is external energy. That is actual vision. And then there is Paramatma also. But if you simply see the body and you identify a person with the body, this is a cat, this is an animal, this is my friend, this is my enemy, then that vision is not actual vision. It is material vision. This material differentiation is due to a material conception of life. Remember, when you're covered by avidya, you will have material conception. When that avidya is replaced by vidya, you will have real conception. After the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. So this is now Jnani's vision. So when they see that, when they stop seeing the features, what are they seeing? They're simply seeing soul, right? They're seeing Brahman everywhere, but still he's seeing himself. And then he's seeing Brahman. Then the next step is Aikya Jnana, means I am that Brahman. There's no difference, like that. So after the destruction of the material body, the spirit soul is one. The spirit soul, due to contact with material nature, gets different types of bodies. When one can see this, he attains spiritual vision. Thus, being freed from differentiations like man, animal, big, low, etc., one becomes purified in his consciousness and able to develop Krishna consciousness in his spiritual identity. How he then sees things will be explained in the next verse. I'm going to stop here for now. We can discuss it tomorrow. Thank you all so much. I have to jump now. Hare Krishna. I'm ending.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.